I don't know. Noops is muted. So this
Noops
is
is
funny.
muted.
I'm muted. I muted myself.
I thought I was going
Friday,
crazy.
I was going to let him go for a little while.
I don't know how I did that.
I was on a different tab, so I'm just like, maybe it's not loading yet.
I guess I'll do it anyway. But happy Friday, everybody, and welcome back to Brown Bag Bets, powered by BetSports. We are your daily dose of quick hit handicapping and sports betting picks. I'm Alex Christensen, and joining me, as always, Mr. Andy Molitor. And since it's Friday, and Andy and I really need as much help as we can get at this time of the year, we bring in Mr. Matthew Rooney. Gentlemen, Merry almost Christmas. Matt, what are you doing for the holiday?
Just family, my family on the 24th, girlfriend's family on the 25th, and a whole bunch of just seeing a lot of people. What's that, Andy? What's your fingers there?
You and her smooching at New Year's. Uh-oh.
New Year's out.
I like Matt's girlfriend a lot. The first time I met her was in Las Vegas, and she walked up to me with a big tall boy of whatever beers you guys were drinking. Like,
yeah,
I could party with her. So
yeah,
start.
That was
lots of love to Alyssa, and
wonder if she's watching. I don't know if she knows I'm on this morning.
She should watch now that we actually mentioned her for once.
We started the show talking about her.
Yeah,
she's in the chat sometimes.
Yeah, she is. She usually asks you for some first basket props. Big first basket prop better. She hit on Vooch on the Bulls game the other night.
Yeah, it's kind of like it's like Noops does with the first touchdown scores. It's nice to have something where all right, the rest of the bets in this game are free, or I can live bet, or I can I have some. And speaking of, we had a really good day yesterday. We hit a first touchdown score. It wasn't the biggest price, but still 22-1 is, I'd say, above average as far as first touchdown scores, even for Noops's prices, who tend to lean away from anything under 10-1. Charlotte plus 11, kind of never in doubt. I think they might have drifted outside of that a little, but they were within a few possessions the whole game. That cashed. Wizards team total never happened. That was a push. It's so weird to push on a team total.
So pushed on a team total?
Pushed on exactly 112 points or so.
That never happens.
Kudos to anyone who got 11.5.
And this is why I've decided not to do any research into the bowl games today. I've done better with the bowl game. Here's the bowl game. Here's the two teams. And then Dan says something in the chat, or a commenter says something in the chat, or I look at something real quick and I'm like, oh, I should bet on this. And even yesterday, Noops was like, should we just bet in the Air Force like -9.5 plus 400? I couldn't find I didn't look that hard, to be fair. I didn't find alts that went out that far, but Air Force was a 3.5 point dog, so I just bet them straight up. And then I also bet the deepest alt line they gave me at Chris was like -3.5, I think plus 211. So I had two kind of big underdog prices on the Air Force game and kind of forgot about it until it was halfway through. I went and checked. I'm like, oh, go Service Academies. Plus the Jaguars were winning.
Dan brought it up on the Blogger Bowl. We've talked about it in both of our bowl shows now. If you like underdogs in the bowl games, just take their money line. Most of the times when those underdogs are covering, I forgot the stat he gave me. I'll probably throw it in the chat. But in bowl games, most of the time when the underdog covers, they actually end up winning outright. And it's just absolutely a worthwhile bet.
Yeah, no, and I was going to say credit to Dan, brought that up before the bowl season started. If you do like an underdog, hell, get wild with it. Like I said, I bet -3.5 at over 2-1. So it was nice to see Baylor no show you last night. And basically, if you had green in your colors, you no showed last night because the Jets were horrible too. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on that game, but I'm happy my Jaguars won. So
Zach Wilson got pulled for a guy that I've never heard of before.
Chris Strevler.
There you go.
He made us a lot of money in the preseason. Every time he came in, Mamba would be all excited. We'd all live bet the Jets, and he'd go out and throw like 2 touchdowns against the backups. He is a Grey Cup champion. So shout out to.
So he's a winner.
I think he's possibly a 2-time Grey Cup champion. He was a very good CFL quarterback, which is different. But yes, let's what do we want to bet on heading into the weekend here?
You tell me.
Should we start with the bowl games?
Yeah, we got some. I like that little graphic in the corner there.
How
That's
did you figure out
nice.
how to
I
do
know,
that?
Dan.
This is
came
a
up
nice
with it.
new setup, and that's the first time I heard the new intro, or I've been on with the new intro too. So that threw me off a little bit, but I like it. I like this. We're doing big things in the new year.
Real quick before you talk about this bowl game, the new intro reminds me of the Chips Ahoy commercial.
I'd have to watch it again.
Yeah, I'll pull it up. But,
Yeah, why don't you send that in the Slack channel?
It looks like this bowl game starts in like 3.5 hours.
Yeah, 2:00. There's
the Independence Bowl. We have an early one.
I didn't know it. Dan said it in the chat. I think he said I want no part of it, and I don't really want much of a part of it either. But it's 2:00 Friday football, and I'm on the show, so I feel inclined to give out a pick. We're gonna take under 56.5 in Louisiana, Lafayette, and Houston. I didn't know it got this cold in Shreveport, Louisiana, but it's 23 degrees with a real feel of 7. You have a 6-6 Louisiana team and a 7-5 Houston team. Houston massively underachieved this year. I don't think either team's going to really want to be there, and I think there's going to be a little bit of a lack of effort on both sides. It's cold. The game doesn't matter. It's Friday before Christmas. People want to get out of there. I think you're going to see a lot of just meh football. So I'm going to take the under and plug my nose and watch those kids kind of be miserable in the cold. And then the night game, I'm going to take Wake Forest -2.5 against Missouri. Missouri's had a nice season, but they're missing whether it's opt-outs, injuries, transfer portals, like I think 10 of their defensive starters we were talking about yesterday on the College Football Show. And this is Sam Hartman's kind of swan song with Wake Forest, and I think he's going to go off on a high note. I think Wake's going to cruise, and I think they're going to put up a lot of points.
Any thoughts on UL Lafayette money line? It's like a home game for them.
You could, and I mean, if you like them, like we talked about, go for it. It's just with the weather and these two teams, I have no feel on the game. I'm not going to tell you you're right. I'm not going to tell you you're wrong. But if you like the money line, you want to do that at 2:00 on a Friday bowl game, go for it. I'm not going to tell you not to.
All about
what is
bowl
the other bowl
motivation
game
scenarios.
called?
Is
it the Gasparilla?
Is that the Gas?
Independence Bowl.
The Independence Bowl's at 2. Yep. The Wake Forest.
Can you guys tell me who the
Gasparilla.
sponsor is of the Independence Bowl?
The magicjack.com.
It's Radiance Technologies.
That sounds made up.
It does sound made up.
Honestly,
and then tonight is
there's like a Jimmy
Union
Kimmel
deep state.
There is. It's the Jimmy Kimmel Los Angeles Bowl. It already happened. Why does he get a bowl? But yeah, then there's the Union Home Mortgage Gasparilla Bowl.
Okay, I am gonna take some Louisiana. So it used to be Louisiana Lafayette, but they just kind of call them Louisiana now. Is that the one that changed their name?
The Ragin' Cajuns.
When last time I went to Mexico, I was at a resort in Cancun, and there was a bunch of dudes, and they didn't seem like they were just the biggest Louisiana Lafayette fans. The kind of gear that they had made me feel like they were coaches, because they all had like really nice, button downs with the logos on it. Like who would? And every day we saw them, they are all wearing Lafayette gear. So I think I may have partied with the coaching staff down there one time. So maybe I'm a secondhand Lafayette fan. Yeah. Sure. Those guys were drinking hard. I mean, everybody was. It's Mexico, but let's go. Raging Cajuns, bleep the Cats, and then Wake Cougs. And I have a hard time with that because I have futures on the Bengals, on the Lions, on the Jaguars. Like basically, if you're a large cat, I've bet on you. So it's hard for me to bet against the Cougs here. And same thing with Wake Forest. I mean, I'm betting against the Tiger, but I feel I may have tried to middle, and I did middle the season win total for Wake Forest after the Sam Hartman medical emergency early in the season. So I owe Wake Forest a little because that's betting on bad stuff. That's bad betting juju, and I will take some Wake Forest in that one.
I like it. Where do you want to go next?
Home. I'm tired, man. It's Friday. It's Christmas. NBA, and really too. I was going to ask Noops if he has any early looks yet for Sunday, but I know we should concentrate on today first.
I haven't started looking at Sunday yet. Not seeing too many lines, honestly, out there for Sunday. Some spots have them up, some spots don't. I was disappointed this year in general. Not as many early Christmas lines as we've got in the past few years. I guess books got sick of us whacking those things 2 months early and getting a lot of middles and good value on that. So, as usual, Andy, there is 14 games on the NBA slate. So I bet 2 of them. Just a really, really strange night. The night before Christmas Eve is always a little funky in the NBA. Everyone is off tomorrow. And then you've got the big slate on Christmas. It's a tough travel day for a lot of these teams. There will be some pretty good games tonight. Clippers Sixers should be great. Our Orlando Magic probably smoked the San Antonio Spurs. I have no idea what to make of the Bulls Knicks game. I might bet the Detroit Pistons, but that seems like a bad idea because they're playing the Hawks, and that just.
I have a question real quick.
Andy,
how bad are the Pistons? Let's see, 0
They're
to
worse
10.
than the Spurs.
But from an
trying.
entertainment level, like from 0 to 10.
-2.
Okay, shit. I got an email from the Timberwolves trying to sell me tickets to the New Year's Eve game in Minneapolis, and tickets are cheap. And I'm like, well, it's because it's a shitty team no one wants to see, right? But again, the person I'd be bringing is an 11-year-old girl, and she doesn't know the Pistons are bad. She just wants to see the Wolves win. So that'd probably be a good one, right?
Oh, Wolves are going to be probably double-digit favorites, close to that in this game. I'd say there's something like -8.
All right, good to know.
So you'll get a win, and that's good. You'll have a lot of time to do other stuff if you want to at the game, because at some point she will realize that the Pistons just have nobody tonight. But they looked a little plucky against the Hawks. A whole bunch of games. If Evan Mobley's in, I will bet the Cleveland Cavaliers. But the 2 bets I did make: the Houston Rockets. Been a great team for us this year, and we'll continue basically to bet them. My numbers always really like the Rockets. I think that the level of effort that they're putting forth is much better than some of these other teams that are clearly tanking. Again, a lot of people put them in the same group as that Pistons team, as the Spurs, as teams that are actively not trying to win games. But to me, this feels a little bit more like the Magic. I don't know if they're as good as Orlando, but just that young team in the Western Conference that is trying to sort of push up and win games here, whether they are or not. But they're 7-point underdogs at home tonight against the Dallas Mavericks team that's a little beat up, that has been playing some really up and down basketball game. And not that this is much of a road game. Again, Houston and Dallas pretty close, but this is the last game before going home for a weekend, going home for the holiday. I wonder if we even see Dallas rest a few guys here tonight. I have this closer to 4, so happy to take the Rockets +7 or better. And then the Portland Trailblazers, a team that I was kind of down on coming into the season, but has played really well. They've stayed healthy. Some of the moves that they've made have worked really well. Jeremy Grant looks great. Really like what they're doing here. And they're 4.5-point underdogs. They are in Denver tonight against a Nuggets team that, again, may have Michael Porter Jr., may not. I think Jamal Murray's going to be playing tonight, but another team in the Nuggets that just is all out of place here. To be perfectly honest, I'll probably play a little Trailblazers money line here because it does feel like the Blazers probably win this game or maybe lose by quite a bit. But I had this much closer. I had the Blazers only 2-point underdog. So I'm going to take the 4.5 and again, sprinkle the money line. I know, Matt, it's tough to bet a team.
That was funny.
You think of when there is a scenario in which I can see the Nuggets winning this game by 20 points. Jokic could just do Jokic things. Porter Jr. comes back. He's making threes, and this thing isn't even close. But more often than not, I think this is going to be an absolute dogfight. I think the Blazers win this a handful of times. So we'll look at the money line. I'm looking at +160 right now. Curious to see where that goes, but might sprinkle a little bit of that.
I like it. I like sprinkling an underdog money line.
You got to think about how your bet's going to lose. If you haven't considered how it's going to lose, you haven't really gotten all
thought it through. No.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I do that all the time. I think about how I'm going to lose.
Maybe I'll pull this middle. I'll go Blazers +4.5, Nuggets -19.5.
Yeah.
No, that's a bad idea.
Sounds awful.
Don't do that.
Yeah,
That sounds awful.
Don't do that.
Nope.
All right. A little bet for me on the SMU Pony Express, the pride of the Athletic. I believe this is another one where we are so not quite in conference play. Some teams are starting conference play. Some teams have not quite yet. Again, it's Andy, so I'm not betting on a very good team, but they're decent. They're decent at everything. They don't have some glaring they rebound offensively at 20% or They turn the ball over 30% of possessions. It's just not great at anything, I guess is maybe what I'm getting at. They're playing a tough Utah State team, but again, it is a neutral site team, and Utah State does have some glaring weaknesses. They do not force turnovers. They are kind of horrible on the offensive glass, and they've really kind of let teams do what they want. 3-point, they're kind of a live by the three, die by the three. They shoot three balls very well, but they give it up quite a bit as well. So this total, I should look what this freaking total is. I'm guessing it is 145.5, which actually might be a little low here, but getting a few too many points here. And I took SMU. And yeah, this is like when I said don't do coke, guys. But imagine how good it would be if you didn't have to worry about how much it is. And then the other one is an even worse team in Coppin State, who and again, we have to temper some of this stuff early in the season by, strength of schedule, which is always such a tough. I think that's the toughest part about early season basketball, when a team is over or underperforming priors and stuff like that. You say, yeah, but they haven't played anybody, and that's why their offensive rebounding is great, because they're playing a D2 school every other night, and those kids are, none of those kids are on scholarship or anything, but Coppin State is in the MEAC, and much like the SWAC or some of the other really low end conferences, they play a bunch of tough games. They've played Marshall, they've played Maryland, they've played NC State, James Madison, which was, I don't know if anyone caught that. That was a double overtime barn burner. Both teams got to 100 points there. I'm not sure we'll see that many points tonight, but they are a pretty big dog to George Mason tonight. And they're a really good shooting team. Like, maybe not from deep as much. They're decent from deep, but they're just offensive efficiency. Their effective free throw shooting, effective field goal percentage is all pretty high for a team in the MEAC that's had to play this level of squad. And again, I've mentioned this in the past too. When a team is a big favorite and they can't hit free throws worth of shit, I love to bet against them. So what do you get when you get to the end of some of these games, when you get the stupid, hey, we're down by 10 with 30 seconds, we better foul, because that's how we're going to get back into this game and win it, guys. And it's awful nice when that happens and the other team is shooting like 62% from the line. It does kind of help assuage some of that and maybe give you a little hope. And truthfully, this George Mason team is shooting 61.5%.
That's not good.
From the line as a team, which means they must have like all of Shaq's kids. I don't know how many kids he has, but they must all. That'd be bad, because that would be a dominant paint team. But just two nasty big underdogs for me today, and hopefully, maybe this afternoon, even if some lines come out early, I'll get in on some Saturday action. I should have a nice fat Saturday card. I'm going to do nothing but clear my driveway, watch basketball tomorrow. And NFL, God.
Yeah, the NFL's on tomorrow.
Such a weird weekend, but we are super blessed to have all this football and basketball this weekend. And hockey.
It is throwing me off that the NFL starts, that the NFL is like main day is tomorrow. I don't have a feel for that at all whatsoever.
I totally forgot they were doing it all tomorrow.
It sneaks up. So there's like some standalone games on Sunday, but
is it supposed to snow again tomorrow?
Where? You have to say where.
Somewhere.
Oh, I don't know. Like places?
Yeah.
I was going to say, you and I usually get the same kind of weather, Andy. It's just a little bit colder by you.
There's some chances. No, but right now we're still in a blizzard, which means all the snow that came is blowing around. I drove around a little today. I had to drive back home, and boy, there was a couple spots where the wind kicked up and you couldn't see shit. I'm like, oh no.
Not supposed to snow.
Just like that old gypsy woman said.
I feel like these snowstorms they always tell us about never end up actually being that bad. Like, we were being prepared for another like snow apocalypse. It was like 3 inches.
Yeah, weathermen tend to be sensationalists, but at the same time, they're trying to keep you safe. So I try not to yell too much. But speaking of freezing cold stupidity, let's head to the ice and talk some NHL.
Big-ish slate tonight. I know there were a couple games actually postponed because of weather. I think it was Buffalo and Ottawa both got postponed.
Aren't they indoors?
Yeah, but like travel and stuff,
Yeah,
I don't really know. Again, probably like you said, they want to keep people safe, Andy. I just have one pick tonight. It's the LA Kings -1.5 plus 152 over the Arizona Coyotes. The Coyotes are bad, and really, whenever you get this big a value against them, I think you take it on the -1.5. You're getting plus 152 because the Kings did play last night. They beat Calgary. I still like taking them. Arizona's bad. The Kings are having a very good year. They're actually tied for third in the Western Conference. They're only 4 points behind Vegas for the Western Conference and the Pacific Division lead. They're playing very, very good hockey this year. They're scoring a lot of goals. Scored 4 in each of their last 2 games. Arizona scoring just over 2 in their last 5 per game. So they don't score a lot. They let up a lot. The Kings are a very good team. It's take the 152 and hope the Kings aren't too tired from last night. I think it's too good a value to pass up.
Also, I wanted to pop back to Coppin State, the Eagles.
Oh, sure. Hockey really bored you, huh?
No, I was closing tabs and I saw something. I'm not sure if this happens that often, but they'll play they've played George Washington, James Madison, and now George Mason in a row.
Wow.
Just a murderer's row of founding fathers.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
That's wild. Like, right.
What's their record versus against
George Mason, a founding father?
He could be.
George Mason was a member of the Virginia House of Delegates representing Fairfax County from 86 to 88.
You have his Wikipedia open?
I may have his Wikipedia open.
I was going to say, where'd you Google that?
I had to look up who he was. So
2 out of 3 presidents, not bad.
Yeah, he was.
Is there a Lincoln? Can we get a Lincoln on the schedule?
So Wikipedia says he was a founding father, so I'm not going to argue with that, even though they're trying to get me to PayPal them $2.
They always do that.
Couple just founding fathers. The founding
still
fathers
out on
stretch.
Wikipedia from when they didn't.
I wonder if it's somebody. Yeah, I wonder if it's somebody who just thought that was funny when they're putting the schedule together. Like, I'm just going to put nothing but a whole bunch of founding fathers right in a row. But hopefully they can take down one more. Because fuck them. Let's get after it. I hate the Stamp Act too, but I'd like to see Coppin State pull off the upset tonight, or at least stay within 12 guys. So, all right, well that's it for Christmas week.
A lot covered.
We covered a lot.
Plans, founding fathers.
We laughed, we cried, we hurled. We're gonna head into the weekend, watch a bunch of sports, hang out with the families, eat some good food, open some presents. Hopefully, you guys have the best of luck. All your gifts are great. All your bets win. And yeah, we'll catch you again next week at some point. Redaholics wants an NFL pick. I disgustingly bet the Seahawks +10. I'll tweet some
This
stuff
might be the
out.
music from the Whips